Welcome back. I've been saying for the past week or so, I'm going to discuss my origin story in complete detail, from the private island that I grew up on to seeing Tanzanian mainland to even Zanzibar main island to where I am today, being a 23-year-old entrepreneur. I'm slowly scaling my own venture capital company, or firm if you must. And I'm a private consultant for entrepreneurs on social media while I do that. The journey starts in the first decade of my life, where I spent that in East Africa. I mean, an eclectic childhood for a little white boy, to say the least. My parents were in the travel industry, very successful in the travel industry as well. And I spent the first years of my life growing up basically while my parents were starting different lodges and resorts, and in specific, Manemba Island Resort was the one that they were kind of working on during the course of where I grew up on the island. So my parents were obviously like in charge of this, and they were starting and managing and running these resorts. And I was just this little kid on the island. I was born in Cape Town, South Africa, but I was taken here. I think it was 6 days after my birth. Like it was like pretty much a week, and I was in Zanzibar, my home. So little white boy, just growing up. Basically, I would spend my mornings like waking up. It's just white sand beaches straight outside of my house. My house didn't even have doors in that stage of my life. It was just this pure open plan. It was gorgeous luxury, but it was this pure open plan home. And I would literally walk out of my doorstep, and just my backyard was crystal clear ocean and a luxury resort called Manemba Island, which was a little bit off the Zanzibar mainland. It's a very, very small island. I think there's between 11 and 15 rooms. They have done a remodel recently, so I'm not sure exactly. I haven't been back since the remodel. But I started my life, and I spent my first years in the first decade of my life on an island that I think a lot of people will literally work a lifetime towards, being able to go to for like a honeymoon. It's one of those places, and it was just like, again, this video is in no way for me to sit here and boast. This is a story of truth, a story of my origins, and a story that I've been wanting to share with you guys for a long time. I was saying, I grew up literally living the lifestyle I think a lot of people work sometimes for a lifetime to be able to invest in, or to be able to live. You know what I mean? Like being able to go to resorts and spend $7,000 a night is quite something. And this was my home. So, as I've said on my Instagram a few times, I was exposed to a lot of luxury at a very young age. Like, I was exposed to complete freedom in life since the beginning, and it drove me to be a very creative person. I was a very, very ADHD little kid. I loved movies. That's where my cinematic kind of love, and where, the first company that I ever started when I was 15, Icarus Media, the one I scaled to doing deals with a $5 billion company, YSL. It all started when I was on the island. I had this love for creativity. I used to watch movies like crazy. Star Wars, Batman. I had this weird, strange love for dark films, and at a very young age. And my parents were super cool enough to let me kind of just watch what I wanted at a super young age. So it did really mold my love for filmmaking and creativity. So this was pretty much my life. Like, wake up, white sand beaches outside, and I'd just be watching movies. And eventually in life, when I needed to go to school and invest myself into the proper things in growing up, other than just like your raw childhood, eventually, I started kind of a little bit of homeschool on the island, but it didn't work. There was no individuals for me to connect with, and I was kind of alone in the in the space. So growing up on this island, like I remember my only people to connect to were kind of the guests on the island that were, coming and going. I didn't really have any friends. There was no one my age. So, from my mom's like personal friends who would come stay on the island, clientele as well, these were like billionaires as well. I just was completely unaware at the time. I used to go like hopping from room to room. I remember I was known on the island because I'd be like this 5-year-old basically going room to room, just stealing a glass of champagne from each of the guests on the island because they all loved me, and they would all just give me a glass, and then there was basically just this toddler like walking back to his room, and then my parents were like, "Where have you been?" Like, so it was a lot of fun. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I met and spent time with Liam Neeson before I spent time with anyone else. Like made any friends in my life and met anyone my own age. Literally met anyone of my own age of the same color. Like, you know what I mean? Not that it matters, but I'm just saying, like, that was my life. I'd met Liam Neeson. I'd met, geez, there were so many. Paul McCartney, his daughter, countless others, like from Avril Lavigne. Like, I'd literally been used to a lifestyle that was strange because I'd been living on an island that was literally where like A-listers and celebrities and businessmen and women were desiring to come to. So I was just this kid, just there. Anyways, school came around, and my parents actually made the decision to take me out of Zanzibar. I mean, it was a crazy decision on their part because it was their legacy that they were leaving behind. And if I think of what I'm building today, if this was 10 years in the future, leaving that behind would be incredibly detrimental to my own like mental health. So what a crazy decision to leave that beautiful space and that place, that island, and come to Cape Town, because there was this little motherfucker, me, who was like, I need to go to school. I need friends, I need to grow up. I needed to be a normal kid in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? So that's what happened. I went to a all-boys school first, Rondebosch. It was, to be honest with you, like no detriment to the school at all. You know what I mean? I wasn't an educational child. I didn't really love the education system, but it was a school that I remember the reason I left was I was called into the principal's office, and I was told that there's no place for a child like yours at a school like this. And that was to my father in front of me with the principal in the room. And my father looked at the guy and it was like wild, looked at me in the room and said, "Do you want to leave?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I went to the second school in Cape Town that I went to, which was kind of just another one, Cedar House. I finished high school, obviously, at Cedar House, and then entered college. I did digital design, and then I did some graphic design. I did not finish college, just for the record. I will put that out there. I did not finish college. I left college to focus on myself, to focus on mental health. Months into it, like a while into it, I did not like that. I didn't want to apply nor properly learn the information at hand because it was not through an interest lens, it was through a force lens. College, like, again, they're telling me what to learn. I'm not directing myself and actually learning to increase my decision quality and my decision making to be able to find things myself. So I decided to personal study, on top of the fact that I also had some crazy family things going on at that point, some mental health issues with someone in my family that really just made me know deep down that I had to focus on myself, and I took myself out of college. And that's where, at that stage, for context, I'm now like 20 years old at that stage, and that's where I'd already been starting companies, running some things here and there. I'd built a video agency that kept me doing a little better than everyone else my age for a while, and I was kind of just that friend who just like always had money and was just that kid in the group when I was in high school. And I don't think my friends always knew like what it was from or what it came from, but it was because I was always like fucking around. I was always making mistakes. I was always trying things. Video agency, doing music videos for different Nigerian artists in Cape Town. I did that for a while. I started Osiris. It was some education dream company that I started a while ago with the worst business partner that I could have chosen at the time. Again, no hate to you if you see this video, to that business partner. But at that point in my life, the synergy between us was just, it was never going to work. I even started a puzzle company where I sold cognitions. This was an e-com brand, sold cognition puzzles to neurodivergent people. So in that space, I'd started, built, spent time scaling, and closed down companies myself, more so than a lot of people have, been able to do in 20 years of life and experience. So, and I'm not saying that I've had more experience in life to, again, boast or put myself above anyone who's watching this video. It's, again, just a depiction of my own origin story, and I'm just telling you guys the life I've lived. So getting to where I am now or closer, I was kind of 20 at the point where I was like dropped out of college, and I kind of figured I'd go all into personal study, and just stepping into my own self-mastery was a massive part of that journey, and I think it's a large part of a lot of our journeys. It's I think an essential part of the human journey, to be honest with you, to find our highest self and to correct our perception and actions so that we can live a better life in this life. And at 20, like I said, I took myself out of college. Some external things were getting to me, and I'd already kind of made some fair leeway into my own experience in this life. So I decided to go all in, and at that point I was looking for something new. I wanted to start another company. I had exited and given all my shares to that business partner from the education company. I'd closed down Neuro, which was the puzzle company, and I was sitting also on a bit of a pocket, to be honest with you, from crypto. I won fairly big when I was 20 on Solana, and then I was looking for the next thing. That next thing was definitely driven by a more fulfillment seeking me. I realized that in the pursuit of getting myself to a point of which I'm generating, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, millions of dollars a year by myself, separate from my parents as well, obviously, considering the life that I've lived. I needed to do something as well that was impactful, fulfilling, because I'd been exposed to a lot. I have to say this quite transparently. I think my desires in this life and the things that I wanted to have out of this life, based off the picture that was drawn to me, were high, but I think quite high. To be entrepreneurial mind, even pretty crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I had seen like pretty much what spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a holiday was like since I was born, and I'm like, that was the sort of stuff that I was seeing as very normal, and I always have seen as very normal. And getting to a point in which I've been out of that lifestyle, back in the education system, back in my own come up story, becoming an entrepreneur for myself, going in and out of colleges, and then looking at what I was going to start next when I was 20 years old, I was like, I want to acquire a lot. I want to be responsible for a lot. That was my desire. I'm going to be responsible for a lot. That was pretty much what I was putting out there. And I did want to make a lot of money in the process of it, like not, millions of dollars. I want to be pretty transparent. Like, I'm quite confident I'm going to get to the billions in my lifetime, and I will be ahead of a company doing $100 million a year by the time I'm 30. Like, mark my words on these things. And again, the confidence that I've had is based off the picture that I've had given to me my whole life, the perceptions that have been created me. that's obviously why I reach for what I reach for. It's just based off literally everything that I've experienced, that I know I can go for these things and I know what's possible. And that's why I'm making this video, to tell you guys what's possible and to take that leap further than you think you should sometimes. Anyways, I was seeking something that was more fulfillment based and could still give me a shitload of return, to be honest with you. Let's just put it bluntly. And I realized along the course of the way, because I'd also just gotten out of college and I was dealing with external shit that was really making reality hard, to not be operating through a perceptively collapsed lens, and a lens that produced a shit output, not the output that I desired, right? So I was consistently working on my own mental health, my own mastery of basically changing how I see external reality internally, so that I could internally basically produce a different result of what, perceiving external reality harshly would. And again, like, this drew me to look back at the past 5 or 10 years or so in my own life, and I'd realized that I loved creating. Like, I think 15-year-old me knew deep down anyways, I loved creating. I'm exceptionally good at ideation and seeing things that sometimes other people don't. It's because I come from a mind that no one else has, and it's the same with you. No one can beat you in your own game. I was exceptionally good at creating, building, scaling, structuring, and creating that picture deeper than a lot of people realize is possible. Like a Da Vinci in a different space, call it, if you must. And my decision was to go all in to freelance brand scaling at the time, but I built a company called Tika, the Inner Circle Agency, where the goal was I wanted to be a consultant for other people, for other entrepreneurs, because of the way I see things. Not because of what I know. I'm not saying that I have something that you guys do not. It's not like that in entrepreneurship. It's because of how I see that separates me. It's because of how I do what I do that separates me. That's why I can do what I do. That's why I can charge literally $7,500 a month. If you want to obviously partner with me for full-time consulting, private consulting. As in, you get access to me every day. You can book a call, consultation, whenever you need through the month. You know what I mean? Like, I'm able to do this because of how I see, not the things that I've done. That's also a misconception, I think, with sharing ourselves as entrepreneurs on social media, but I've got into that in other videos already. So I went into this model called Tika, this company that I was going to build called Tika. The original idea is that I was going to basically be the head of a company that I would eventually build up to be like a venture company, a venture firm, where I would reach out to different entrepreneurs that I really see potential in, and I would be, providing strategy, coaching these individuals with executive function, leadership skills, how they see, correcting their perception, dealing with maybe certain collapses of their perception. Specified coaching, of course, from A to B, getting them from A to B. That's me. So all of this I was doing, and that was the goal, to position me as that person for entrepreneurs. And I think in the beginning of it, I still entered with a bit of imposter syndrome, if you must. Changed the bio a million times, was saying I'm a coach, was saying I'm a consultant, saying I'm a coach, saying I'm a consultant, back and forth thing. You know what? After being here for now, I'm 23, I have multiple clients with me. I am slowly scaling my venture capital company, or my firm, if you must, and I am a private consultant for entrepreneurs on social media. Do well for myself, let's just put it like that. I won't sit here and kind of yap too much about that. I've done that in other videos. But at the point of where I am now, I did exactly what I needed to be that person for entrepreneurs. It wasn't about, some perfect strategy or saying some perfect thing that brought people to me and just tied it all up in a bow. I just started. I didn't know what to call myself in the beginning when I started Tika. 2 years later, a private consultant and the owner and CEO of a venture capital company. And I've never been clearer on where I'm going in life, on the direction that I have in life, and things that I have to do. And I've never been clearer on what I like to receive out of life, that I like to be responsible, that I'm grateful for this life. I'm grateful to be able to give this life care in the spaces like helping others. And that's all because of everything in my journey. It's not because of like one thing, and that's what I think is the most important thing for me in this video. It's not one thing that can really just tie up that bow of success. It is you. It is you versus you, and it is your entire story that amalgamates that brain that you have, that produces the actions that you make, that creates the fucking pictures that you can create. And I will say, like, I'm only a private consultant today because of every step I've taken, because every action leads to the next, because cause and effect will lead you down a chain that creates the person that you become, creates the moment, or the person that you are in this moment right now. For example, you are a symptom of your past actions and your past thinking, and that's how I have gotten to where I am today. It's also, to be honest with you, it's who I am. Like, this is an origin story. The way I see is who I am. I don't think we are much else. I think the way you see shows the things you've done. It shows what you're capable of. It shows everything about a person. That's why I made this video. My origin story, I guess. So, for those of you who are new here, I've got 15% following and about 90%, like 85-90%. I actually don't know the exact numbers, but my non-followers are through the roof compared to my following. So if you want to do the free thing and do me the favor of just dropping a subscribe, it helps a lot more than you guys realize, and it takes this brand and this personal brand and my company further than you can imagine. And I'll do my best to not let you down with the content on the other end, and to be the best, most clear entrepreneur to you guys that I can be, to not let you down. And obviously for you guys that are consistently watching my stuff and you've been waiting for this video for a little while, thank you for watching. I hope this video spoke to you in a different way than a lot of the entrepreneurship content at the moment speaks to you. I hope it draws you to the realization that you are the only thing that matters. Your context matters, not your knowledge and skills. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, the reason that people will pay you is because of the way you see, and the way you do, and the way you act, not just the things you have accomplished. Because the way you act and the way you see and the way you do is exactly how you accomplish those things anyways. Thank you for watching my origin story, and like I said, if you guys haven't subscribed already, it would help a lot more than you guys realize. And if you guys want to work one-on-one in private consultations, I've actually just opened up consultations by the hour, which is very interesting, but it's based off demand on my Instagram basically. So you guys can send me a DM on Matt the Strategist if you guys want to basically have a consultation. Not sure how long it will take, and you want to do by the hour with me, one-on-one. Wherever you are in the world, we do online. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Ciao.